Urban Chaos Riot Response is kind of like the anti-Ready or Not. Sure, both games are about police forces cracking down on crime, but Ready or Not is mostly about saving lives. Urban Chaos is about ending them in very over-the-top gratuitous ways. There are options like tasers and less lethal grenades, but you also can set people on fire with your taser. And it's a lot of fun, so I'm not complaining. Not gonna morality police this one. But I'm bringing it up because the game apparently shifted pretty hard over the course of its development. There are prototypes from about 2 years before the game's final release, in 2004 for the prototype, 2006 for the final release. And it shows what looks like a very different version of the game's vision. Basic concept was there, but a lot of the finer details were radically different. What I'm talking about is the prototype for Urban Chaos Riot Response, known as Roll Call.
About time! Ain't seen you before, but I got no time for introductions. My men are pinned down, they can't even put the fires out without some goon shooting at them. Burners, they call themselves. Bastards, I say. Let's get over there and help my men out.
It's for the PS2, and there are a few versions of it out there. The one I played had one working level. It was set in a similar situation to some of the early levels, albeit not in the winter. And I wanted to break down what all went on in it because it's an oddity. It's an interesting sort of thing, delving into what should be a very rough early version of the game, but one that plays pretty close to the final. I don't know, it feels pretty polished. It feels like they went back to the drawing board for a lot of stuff, that this could have been its own release had they polished it up a little more, released it late 2004, early 2005.
January's crime figures were released today and confirm what most New Yorkers already know. The onslaught of gang violence in the city is at an all-time high. Starting barely 1 month ago, the sudden upsurge of violent crime has brought the city almost to its knees. In response to the unprecedented escalation of violence, the mayor has declared a state of emergency and formed a counter-gang division of the police department, Unit G18.
So in Roll Call, you aren't part of T0, you're part of Unit G18, and you're still cracking down on the burners as they unleash attacks across the city. The level starts with a news report, sort of like how all of the levels do in the final game, but the delivery's different. We don't have the same actors, we don't have the same news station, and after the report's done, it actually goes back to when the incident happened. This is a post-incident sort of report, whereas in final game, the news reports are covering things that are about to happen. So they're getting news about, like, incidents of the burners attacking firemen, attacking buildings and such, taking hostages. Whereas here they're talking about the aftermath of what happened, and you're playing through the events themselves. The level starts out with you needing to rescue some firemen in an alley. The burners are coming at you in force. A lot is different. The HUD design is different, the gun you're carrying is different. You start out with your pistol just like in the final game, but this is a Beretta, whereas the final game seemed more like a SIG or a Glock. The final game really stylized its guns, so it's a little tough to tell. You still have the shield, you can bash enemies with it, you need the shield to block projectiles and such, but for the most part you're fighting melee-based enemies along with some throwable sort of enemies. The burners look totally different. They don't have the masks and the unique outfits of the final game. They look just more like a generic sort of gang or a bunch of anarchists here. The final burners were a lot cooler, I'm not gonna lie. You just need to see how they were back then, but it is what it is. Another thing you'll notice is that this is hard. This is much tougher than the final game. You die very easily. I died multiple times trying to play through this. The checkpoint system didn't really seem to work. I ended up having to use God mode to actually beat it. And on that note, you do have a debug menu that's available. There are different cheats you can enable. Outside of God mode, you can also equip different weapons, including stuff that doesn't appear in the demo by default, like upgrades and such.
You're okay, son. I'll stay with you. Make sure you're okay.
After clearing your way through the alleys, getting to the other firemen, rescuing them in time, you get a shotgun and you have to go inside of a building to rescue some more innocent people being attacked by the burners. You get access to the thermal vision, sort of like how it is in the final game. And that plays pretty closely, where you have heat sources you can see, use it to light up dark areas. The shotgun is a SPAS 12, not like in the final game, where the shotgun is a little more of a mix of different designs. Shotgun's powerful though, it's fun to use. And after getting your way through the building, you get outside, and you need to hold the line against a bunch of burners that begin attacking the remaining firemen, and you, and the building itself. You have to hold the line against the horde, and this is when the upgrades really come in handy. Because I don't know how you would beat this without cheats, I'll be honest. This was pretty brutal overall. Upgrades allow you to get access to better options for your guns, like how it is in the final game, where they're mandatory and they just add a permanent buff to whatever gun you're carrying. I also went ahead and tried to cheat in the other two guns, the assault rifle and the machine gun. As far as I can tell, they look pretty close to each other and they play pretty similarly. They're both automatic weapons, they both can get scopes. There are upgrades to magazines and such. Overall, it's pretty complex. The upgrade system takes your guns pretty far, sort of like the final game, where like over time, the assault rifle gets a scope, it gets a better scope, it gets a grenade launcher in the final game. Here it doesn't get quite that complex, but there are still some pretty cool upgrades you can get by using cheats. And plus the assault rifle design's totally different. It's more like an M4, whereas the final one's more like a Scar L.
Get away from me!
You ready for this?
You don't scare me!
You ready for this?
Get away from me! Shoot!
Friggin' pig!
The assault rifle upgrades are armor-piercing rounds, a drum magazine, same for the machine gun. Pistol has magazine upgrades. After you get the civilian out of the building, you have to get outside, fight off the burners, and eventually when you do, you get a mission complete. You beat the level. It's just one level out of the apparently 10 that are in another prototype, but I couldn't get that one working, so I'll have to revisit it another time. I would like to, though, because honestly, 10 levels makes it sound like it's a pretty complete game by that point. It makes me wonder just how close to completion Roll Call was before they scrapped it or reworked it into Urban Chaos Riot Response. And don't get me wrong, I love Urban Chaos Riot Response. I would love to do a video on that sometime. It's an underrated classic. It deserves a PC port. It definitely is a strong showing from Rocksteady. I can believe these guys went on to make the Arkham series, because Urban Chaos Riot Response was a strong first showing. But it's still cool to see the early DNA of this game, especially how far along it was. The overall identity was there of assisting other emergency personnel, saving civilians, fighting off gangs and such, but it seems like this was a more primitive approach to it. I think the final game nailed things down correctly, and it's neat to see how far it came.
You did good, Nick. Come on back to the station.
In a dramatic surge in gang violence, we're hearing that fires were deliberately started in order to ambush members of our city's fire department. Fortunately, this time our boys in blue were too good for them. But it looks like this is only the beginning.
So, have you guys played Urban Chaos Riot Response? Have you tried out the prototypes for it? What do you think of it? And do you think we'll ever get a PC port of the final game? Because I don't know, I'd really like that. I think that it's very unique. Few games really have that police shooter sort of feeling. Sure, we have SWAT 4, we have Ready or Not, but those still focus on the saving lives aspect. There's something just grimly funny about blowing away criminals with absurdly powerful weapons. while at the same time getting options to non-lethally take them in. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Take care.